right. Thank you very much, Curtis. And so now we're going to turn to our guest, and we're going to bring on Representative Owolewa, who is the non-voting representative for the District of Columbia. And I just battered your name, and I so apologize, Oye. See, I know you as Oye, but
Yes.
Shevry threw me a curve when he pronounce it for me properly, so that I make sure I do it properly.
No, you were almost there. My name is Owolewa. My
Oh,
parents
okay.
were Nigerian. I was born here in the United States, so I've been able to kind of navigate both realms. So I do appreciate you having me here.
I am excited that you're here as well. And you are in a position in the district government. I mean, first you're a rather young member of as a um, representative from the District of Columbia, a non-voting representative. But
Yes.
explain to our audiences. We tend to use, or have in the past used, the word shadow. And that's a term that so many like yourself who have been elected to office really refuse to use.
Right.
And it makes sense. But explain your position on not really wanting to use that term, shadow representative,
Mhm.
representing the District of Columbia in the US Congress.
Yes, that's a great question. So, unlike most other states or every other state, this position doesn't have a congressional seat or a congressional vote. So, I usually use the term shadow to designate the idea that we're not sworn into Congress like most other people are, whether they're in Maryland or Virginia, what have you. The reason why sometimes people in this role don't like using the term shadow is because, number one, it's not on the ballot. Our title is U.S. representative, but also it can minimize some of the work that we do. So we fight for DC statehood, and in this office, we actually not only talk about statehood, but we also demonstrate why we should become a state and try to mitigate some of the things that we lose as not living in a state. Something like our criminal justice system, the way we use our money, the way our budget is being determined for us, and things like that.
And so, in your position, one, you don't occupy, I think, an office on the Hill, correct?
Correct.
Right,
Correct.
but you still interact with folks on the Hill. Is that correct?
Yes, and we actually have a really good relationship with our Congresswoman Norton's office. A lot of issues that people bring to me, whether it's immigration issues or visa issues, we work closely with their office to make sure, we bring as much resources and value to DC residents.
Okay, and are you paid?
So I'm not paid in this role, but we do have a budget to carry forth our mission. And I'm a pharmacist by day, so I'm able to, figure out I'm able to take care of some things on my own end too.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah.
Because I think it would not hurt maybe for Win TV in one segment, and I know we're coming up on the 50th anniversary of Home Rule,
Yeah.
to actually do a couple of civic shows, because people don't know how our government operates. I mean, on one hand, we're a city. On the other hand, sometimes we're treated as a state.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to get statehood,
Mm-hmm.
and then just the whole relationship that we have with Congress and the president, who has to sign off on our laws. And so many people don't understand that. So we're going to put that on the calendar, and we'll probably bring you back on to have that conversation.
Let's do it.
Great, great, great. So now, I mean, but we're here today to talk about this expungement
Right.
event that's coming up. And in a couple of minutes, we're going to bring on Anthony Muhammad as well. But
Mhm.
tell me, where did this idea come from? I know it's been done in the past, but how did you decide to pursue this?
Yeah, that's a great question. When we talk about statehood, oftentimes we discuss the voting rights component to it, but we don't discuss other things that impact DC residents, like our criminal justice system. Right now, lacking statehood, DC residents are living under a federalized criminal justice system where the folks in DC who are incarcerated often get shipped to other parts of the country because we don't have our own prison. Our process of removing such charges from our records is harder here in DC compared to our other states. So, me being in DC, me living in Ward 8, a lot of my neighbors talked about their criminal records not allowing them to live the best lives that they can, whether it's working where they want to work, living the kind of housing they want to live in because of their record. So I collaborated with organizations like Time for Change, Christian Legal Aid, and DC Dream Center to bring a Know Your Rights campaign to some of our residents, as well as a record sealing process for folks who have committed non-felony charges to be able to get get themselves on that path to sealing their record and living the life that they deserve to live.
Thank you. And also, um, when you think about the numbers of folks in the District of Columbia, do you have any idea of how many people this could impact?
Absolutely. Hundreds, if not thousands, because when somebody goes to jail, their family goes with them. But if you seal somebody's record and now they own a business, they can hire so many people that have that experience or on their way to that experience. So touching one life impacts their whole entire community. And that's what we're really trying to do.
A while back, the district passed a law where employers could not, I think, maybe it was arrest records. I should know a little bit more about this, but I'm just trying to figure out, how that, if you have any idea, if residents are still being impacted by that, the fact that they should not be asked about criminal records, or that criminal records should not keep them from gaining employment. But it seems as though the expungement way is the better way to go.
Yeah, absolutely. At the end of the day, a lot of people don't even try to seek those opportunities because maybe the door's been closed on them and they just want to go back to what they know, which oftentimes get them in more trouble. But we're not only trying to wipe off or clean a record, we're also trying to inspire some hope too. We're bringing folks who are impacted by the justice system that have turned their lives around successfully to be a resource, to be a mentor, to talk about positions and jobs that they've taken that allow them to get that second chance as well. So there may be folks that come tomorrow's clinic. They may not be eligible to get their record sealed right away, but we want to make sure even those folks leave with some tangibles that they can get them some positive outcomes.
Thank you. I'm going to bring on Anthony Muhammad as well, who's the president of the Metropolitan Police Department 7D Citizens Advisory Council, and who shared also because of the work that he's been doing for so many years in prison ministry. Anthony, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me. A great, great opportunity to speak to your audience.
So why is it, how did you get involved? And we're going to give the details of the expungement clinic. I'm trying to have a conversation before we give them the meat,
Okay.
to keep them hanging on, keep our viewers hanging on. But why is this event so important to you?
Because it will help a number, thousands, get out of being labeled as a ex-offender, and they will be able to get or apply for jobs that would normally deny them because of a record. And in Washington, 10 years, if you have been crime-free for 10 years, you do not even have to write it on any application that you have or are applying for a job for. So that in itself is a big help for those who are returning to Washington, D.C. And I've been involved in this for over 30 years, going in and out of prisons of the Mid-Atlantic region. This will enable millions to get the kind of jobs that they are looking for without worrying about someone saying you did this, that, or the other. And now, no, we cannot offer you any employment. We cannot offer you any housing because of your record. This will be clear that you won't even have to worry about it. And a lot of, even in this new criminal code, a lot of things will not even have to be explained after it is done.
Well, yeah, I mean the council overruled the mayor yesterday. Yeah, so we're having to see what happens with this criminal code. But this is called an expungement clinic. So what does that mean? It sounds like there's a process here that you're going to explain to folks. Why is it called a clinic?
Yes, so this is going to be an ongoing series happening in different parts of the city. So although we call it expungement clinic, it's very interesting that DC doesn't allow expungements. And what expungements are is the complete wipe off of your record, off of crimes off your record. But we do sealing. which is essentially similar in terms of the effect of jobs won't be able to see what you've done in the past and you're able to start anew. But expungement is actually done in other states. The reason why I want to call it expungement clinic is because I want to make it aspirational. I want people to leave with the feeling that they could also have an impact on what happens in DC. I want the 10, 15, 20 years from now for us to have the equal rights and equal criminal justice systems compared to our brothers and sisters in other states. There's no reason why people in DC have to fight a different system, a federalized controlled system where our judges aren't elected by us, where our prosecutors are fairly appointed, and our criminal justice system isn't as progressive as the people of DC.
I want to ask Anthony, because you are, you're deeply rooted in the community, particularly here in Ward 7 and 8. How do you think this is going to, do you think that folks feel comfortable coming in and talking to folks and that, and why should they show up?
Oh, of course. This Washington, D.C. actually has the better returning citizens program than anywhere else in the country. They are offered immediate resources when they leave the prisons. They can get housing, they can get financing from the social service programs that they have at the returning citizen office that they have on Martin Luther King Avenue. So it's important that they take things off of their record that will keep them from getting some of the employment that they would like to have.
Mm-hmm. And do you have you encountered individuals who have expressed, like the representative said, who've expressed, we need some help. We need something that's stronger for us in order to.
Oh,
Okay,
yes.
you want to talk about that?
Every day.
Mm-hmm.
Every day. It's misdemeanors also that are on records that keep them from getting jobs, and especially the sexual offenses that are on some of the records of the returning citizens. And some of them were not even legal to be done in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
So if they are taken off their records, that will allow them to work in a job that have children in it. So they wouldn't be penalized because they have this on their record. So it's very important to have their records expunged, or as our representative said, sealed.
Mm-hmm. Will there be attorneys there?
Yes, we're collaborating with the Christian Legal Aid of DC to provide attorneys there, which is very critical because we're talking about legal advice. We're talking about the sealing process. It takes lawyers, it takes courts, it takes a lot of time. So thankfully, we've been able to secure their involvement and also make this at no cost. Typically,
that was
the sealing,
question, yeah.
yes, typically the sealing process can take up to $1,500 to $3,000. I don't know too many people who've experienced incarceration that could shell out that kind of money that could possibly not even turn out the way they want to. Because you don't pay $3,000 for successful interventions, you pay $3,000 for the actual program or for that legal advice. So having a low cost to no cost and being able to remove our barriers was very important for all of us to come together and make sure that was possible.
So our producer put up the flyer, which is good. So that's a hint that we need to tell people when, where, what time this is going to take place. So let's get that announcement out there.
Absolutely. At 11 a.m. to 2 o'clock tomorrow, we're going to be on the Ward 8 campus at Time for Change. That's at 101 Xenia Street, Southwest, Suite 200 in the Ward 8. I'm very proud of the partnerships we've been able to have, not only with Anthony Muhammad, but mostly with Time for Change, Christian Legal Aid, the DC Dream Center, and the mayor's office is also behind this as well. Really want to make this an hour thing and not just this office.
Wonderful. So it's what are the times again?
11 a.m. to 2 o'clock.
Okay. Wonderful. At 101 Xenia Street in Southwest, on the southwest side of Ward 8 and
Still Ward 8 now. Don't let the Southwest quadrant fool you.
Exactly. So how
Right off
can
of Martin Luther King Avenue.
so can anybody show up, and what do they need to bring with them?
So anybody can show up, but we do recommend people bring their records with them. What we're trying to do is have a Know Your Rights workshop and an intake program. As Anthony can contest, sealing your record is not a one-day process, but we have to have the people bring the material that they need to have so we can know if they're eligible or not. Some records may take years to be able to be sealed, so not everybody's in the same situation, but we do want to have people on the path to knowing what their right journey is.
Wonderful. And Anthony, what's been the consensus of folks that you've talked to out there? Are they looking forward to this?
Most definitely. Most definitely. They are eager to come to have something done about their record.
Wonderful.
And we're expecting a lot.
And will there be opportunities after this? I know you mentioned that Representative Owolewa, that be other parts of the city, but if you live in this community or the Ward 8 community, can you only go to this, or can you go to any of the other expungement clinics that'll take place? Either one of you all can respond.
Well, you can go to all of them. The next month we're going to be in the DC Dream Center in Ward 7. But the reason why I wanted to be in Ward 8 and Ward 7 is because I've heard that there were expungement programs before, whether it's in UDC in Ward 3 or Georgetown or GW in Ward 2. But when you think about the most impacted communities, they're not in Ward 3. They're not in Ward 2. And some of these people in Ward 8 and Ward 7 don't know that it's in Ward 3 and Ward 2. So it's really important to bring these resources to where these people live.
Yes, yes, yes. Great. All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen, for being with us. We hope that you have a big turnout tomorrow. And let me ask, is there a number that folks can call in case they want more information, in case they miss it tomorrow? Is there a way to contact either one of you?
Absolutely. There's an actual phone number on the flyer. If you want to reach me in the office, you can go on repoyedc.com, repoyedc.com. But more importantly, just checking in with you and Washington Informer, the heartbeat of Chocolate City. Telling our stories in our own voices is how you really know what's going on as well. Wonderful. And Anthony Muhammad, what about you?
My number is in the chat.
Okay. Well, our folks can't see the chat, so I don't think. Okay, so Shevry's gonna share it with them, and so that folks can reach out, because in your position as the 70 Citizen Advisory Council member there, you or president, actually, I'm sure there are a lot of issues that you can address that people just need to know.
Yes.
Right. We need to let people know how to contact you. So we appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you.
All righty. Okie doke. Well, gentlemen, have a wonderful day. Get ready for tomorrow,
you do
and
the same.
I might see you there.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yes.
All right.
Thank
you. All right.